Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Carla if you're new here, and I make videos about showing up for yourself. By showing up for myself, I managed to transform my entire life. I lost over half my body weight, 183 pounds. I completely transformed my mental health. I changed my jobs, changed my career, and I feel like a completely new woman. Like I've met the woman I am supposed to be. If you like videos about weight loss, maintenance, personal development, mental health, beauty and fashion, please hit that subscribe button. And if you are one of my lovely viewers who is so supportive but you don't subscribe, please hit that button and turn on the notifications so you never miss a video from me. In today's video, I'm going to be chatting to you about some of the lessons that I've learned over the last 8 months in maintenance. When I first set out to do this, I thought it was only 6 months. I cannot believe it's 8 months. They really say time flies, especially when you have a child, but time really flies. So if you're one of the new people, I just want to give you a little bit of an introduction. I'll leave a video linked up here, and they're also down in the description box if those little tiles don't appear for you guys, about how I lost my weight. So I lost 183 pounds in 14 months. I then had a baby boy, and while I was growing him, I grew myself by 40 pounds, which is very normal when one is having a child, and it took me 17 weeks then to lose that 40 pounds. I have been living in maintenance now since the start of July 2022, and that was 8 months ago. And I have learned a lot about myself, about maintenance, about weight loss, about weight maintenance, all different things since that. So I thought I'd share a couple of bits with you. Of course, I'm not a GP or professional, so this information is only what my experience is and what I've observed. My weight loss goal was to reach 147 pounds. When I originally lost my weight prior to having Brannock, I reached 141 pounds, and I believed that was just a little bit too low for me. I didn't need to be that low, and so I decided that 147 pounds or 10.5 stone was a real good marker for me. And at that, I am just over 5'8", so for me that put me right smack in the middle of the BMI for the normal range. I know BMI has so many issues with it, but bear with me, that is the methodology that's used, and I've had the BMI used against me, so I never wanted to have that happen again. And so I decided to set myself weight range to live by and to stay within, and if I was reaching the upper echelons of that, then I would decide to kind of reset. So my weight range is 5 pounds, so 2.5 pounds down, 2.5 pounds up. And the reason for that is because you cannot stick to one weight. That is impossible. You might need to do a poo, you might have not drank enough water, you might have drank too much water, you might have had too much coffee, you might not slept well, you might have eaten more pasta than you ate something else. You know, there's so many variables as to why one might weigh so different, especially if you're a woman. Your period can have a massive effect, so can ovulation, all these different myriad of reasons, and that's why for me, I know that I am much happier with a range, and I know that a lot of people stick to one certain number. So say if your number happens to be 147 and you go 148 or 149, people can start to freak out, and that's completely normal to fluctuate in your range. And so that's why I promote the idea of a range. I know some people have larger ranges than I do, but for me, 2.5 up, 2.5 down is my comfort point. That's where I'm really happy with. And so I can reset then if I start to get into the upper echelons. And so for my stats of my current weight, I currently weigh 149 pounds, which, as I said, is at the upper echelon. So it's 149.5 is when I would start to go, okay, let's have a look at this and let's kind of re-examine. So what I do is I don't weigh myself regularly. I probably do it ad hoc, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, just kind of check in, see how I'm doing. The main marker that I use is my clothes, and are my clothes fitting me well? I know that for me, I will put weight on. So this is the first lesson that I've learned, is that I will put weight on my legs and my arms first. They are the first things. So my sister, who also lost a lot of weight, and I will lost 92 pounds, I'll leave a video of a Q&As that we've done together. For her, the first place that she lost weight was in her legs, so most likely the last place that she would start to put weight on again is on her legs. So we're total opposites, same family, but for me, I'll know instantly if I put on a pair of trousers and I feel them like a little bit tight around my thighs, but like, okay, my legs, or if I have a pair of boots, like my zip up and knee-high boots, if they're starting to get tight, then I kind of know, like, oh, like that for me is something, that's a lesson I've learned. So that's the first lesson I've learned, that in terms of weight, it's not really that important. What's really important is having markers that can make you go, okay, this is, something's not right here, or we need to check ourselves or to reset. So for me, just having that kind of marker and knowing that where I put weight on first really helped. So if, say for example, if you're in maintenance or you've lost weight, it's good for you to kind of maybe have an idea of where it was on your body that you stored fat first. Maybe you've no idea, but for me, I know where I lost it first. So for me, I lost weight around my waist, I lost weight around my boobs first, and around my kind of like this area. So that would be the last place that I would start to see something. So for me, I know now that I would be, you know, reaching the upper ends of my range. So it's time for me to do a reset. And that's something that I do, you know, maybe like probably 2 or 3 times since I've been on this journey. It's just kind of reset. So having that range, I'm like, okay, so what I'm going to do is go back to the start and do what I do that I know that works, eat within my calorie range for 1 or 2 weeks, weigh myself again at the end of that, see how I'm doing. If I'm back like more towards the 147, you know, like it's just kind of helps me to stay within my range. And that's just something that I do. So that's kind of like giving you an idea of like a reset. So that's something else that I've learned. So using a reset as a tool to just go, this is not starting over again. I think that that's what I really want to convey here. One thing I'd also like to say again is that just be aware, you know, bloating can happen from different foods and things like that. So an idea is to, if you are, you know, like if you notice that you're on the upper echelons of your range, don't like panic straight away. Check again in a few days and see if you're still there, then it's more likely to be actual fat as opposed to bloat or water weight. So a couple more lessons that I have learned since in this maintenance journey is that tiredness will affect your hunger so much. Now I have a theory, I have absolutely no scientific background nor backing of this, but I do have a theory that when you have more fat and when you are in fat burning mode in your body, you're not as hungry because your body has food, has its energy that it needs, and it can get it from your fat store. Whereas when you are smaller, when you are like at your goal weight, sometimes you might not have that as much as that, as obviously as I did, because I lost 13 stone. Like I can feel hungrier than I did at the start, at like when I was losing weight, which I find is really, really interesting. And the one thing that gets me really badly is tiredness. Now I am the mother of a teething toddler, and so, and because he toddles now and walks around, he needs an awful lot of entertainment. It's a lot, like it's a lot. So I know that I can, if I am not grounded and check in with myself, that I can start to reach for food as energy, and my body craves sugar for energy because biologically that's what it's doing. It's craving sugar. It's like, I know that that will give me a hit of energy, and that's like on the biological, like on literally on the biological sense, and my body's like, you need some energy, so you need to eat something that's got like quick energy, and sugar has that. So that's the craving. So it's like, this is not like, I'm not imagining this. So I need to be very careful with myself that I don't allow myself to just reach for sugar as a crutch. And so I need to make sure that I prioritize my sleep, and my sleep hygiene is so important for me. That is a lesson that I have learned, because I do not want to be hungry all the time unnecessarily. That is something I can control and can manage, is that I can do as much as I can for my own sleep hygiene. I cannot control Brannock, obviously, but I can do what I can for me. So that means setting up myself, you know, well in the evening, setting my strict time, not allowing myself to just keep watching Netflix or something like that, and actually going. Another lesson that I have learned is that sugar and I do not mix well together. So that's kind of coming on to that, like the idea of being tired is, you know, that your body is literally on like the macro level or the micro level looking for quick fix energy. And sometimes I have done that. I've eaten a bun or something like that, you know, just like something sweet to give me some kind of hit of like something to continue through the day. And I know that it does not serve me well because I will sugar crash, and therefore I have decided to nearly give it up. So for February, I'm not eating anything with added sugar in it. I've also given up sweetener for my gut health, and any artificially sweetened anything. The only sugary substance that I'm consuming, the only sugar substance that I'm consuming is coconut blossom sugar, organic coconut blossom sugar. It does not have the same effect on me. It does not cause me to have a noticeable dip in my energy. So that is what I have in my coffee. I do have to be careful because it has got more calories in it, obviously, than like sweetener, so I can't have as many coffees, unfortunately. That kind of brings me on to the next thing, is that you have to personalize what works for you. And I've kind of had to develop my own methodology for maintenance that's worked for me, and try it and tested it and see what happens. And I think that that's something that I would really advise for everybody in terms of weight loss and weight maintenance, is you have to find a way to make things work for you. Yes, calories in, calories out, etc. But you have to find what foods work for you, as in, like, yes, I could go eat like a croissant or like a pain au chocolat, vegan obviously, or like a vegan cheesecake or something like that, and I have it within my calories. But that's not going to work for me. Whereas somebody else, it might have no bearing on you. It might not have any impact on your energy levels or how you feel or your gut health or anything like that. So I'm really learning about how to personalize. And I think that that's something that I kind of inadvertently, like unconsciously did during my weight loss journey, is like really personalize the advice towards what works for me. For example, with body slims, there is like one of the meals that they suggest is Weetabix or something like that. I know that Weetabix, that don't work for me. So like I didn't choose to do that. I also chose and still choose to intermittent fast. And I know that that works really well for me. It allows, like, I am currently, it's 11 something, 11:29. I have been up since 4:45, since 4:45 this morning, and I'm only starting to get hungry now. I'm like, okay, now I could do with some food. And that really has helped to, the personalization for maintenance has really worked for me. So it's finding what works for you, and it's also what worked for me in weight loss. And somebody asked me, actually, I think this is a really interesting question. They asked me, did I find that my calories, like, do I still feel restricted in maintenance? And absolutely not at all. I feel no restriction in maintenance. Like, I don't feel the need to overeat. But in the next thing that I'll say, the next lesson I've learned is like how far I've come in terms of my association, my guilt and my shame around food and eating. For example, last night Vincent and I went out for a date night, and I enjoyed a massive meal. I enjoyed every single morsel of it. That was covered in olive oil. It was delicious. We went to Shook in Drumcondra in Dublin, and we had a feast, like a feast. We had mezze platter, we had a roasted cabbage, we had hummus with mushrooms. It was so good. I had so much pita bread, I had falafels, and I enjoyed it. And I have no guilt. Like, yes, I might be at the upper end bracket of my weight maintenance, but I have no guilt about what I've eaten. I know that if my weight goes to 155 or whatever it is, that's not going to mean that my value in the world is less. It just means that it's a number on the scales. And again, that's like kind of going back to that feeling. Like, I think it's more interesting in terms of your markers to keep within clothes, and like how your clothes fit you, or how your energy in terms of walking and cardiovascular fitness are. That's much more interesting to me. That's much more, because that's the physical representation of the number on the scales, as opposed to the number just being data. But I, again, do still like to have that range just to kind of keep myself in check. But I feel no guilt, no shame about enjoying. And I enjoy food. I still love food. I still love exploring, but I'm okay to have some food that is a fuel base for me. And the last point that I really want to talk about is in terms of a realization for myself. It's something that I've learned about myself through this maintenance, and that is that food is 100% no longer a coping mechanism for me. So I have had postnatal depression, and I've been battling for the last year. I'm predisposed to depression, but the postnatal depression, the hormones after having my son went through the roof basically, and I've been able to manage it for I came off my postnatal depression medication, funnily enough, in July actually, and since then my mood has gotten worse, and it got to the point in December where it was really bad. And it wasn't as bad as it was the straight after I had him, but it was pretty bad. And I thankfully I have very good support network in my friends, in my family, in my GP, and with my therapist. So I'm not like here looking for any kind of, you know, I'm supported, and you guys actually have been amazing since I've noted it on social media, and I'm feeling better now. But what I noticed is that in around Christmas time, I started to reach for food as an automatic response to not feeling great. Or I thought about reaching for food, and then I was like, but that's not doing it for me. That's not helping me. It was so weird. It was such a like, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I need. Whereas I would have just previously just like binged or overate and constantly gone through, and I'll leave a thing here about my therapy journey and all about that. I have food addiction because of my constant negative self-talk and life-limiting beliefs that I had. So I used to escape from food, and when things were really bad, I used to binge. But I've been binge free for yonks now. But I noticed that in terms of my food addiction has actually gone, as well as my binge eating disorder, which is just phenomenal. But it left me with like, I can't cope. I have no crutch to lean on. I have nothing that I need, that I can do, that can fill the hole that's inside me. I'm gonna have to freaking work through this. And it was really annoying in a way, but also very freeing, because I know that I no longer am addicted to food, which is just the most wonderful feeling, to be no longer addicted. And with the help of my therapist and with the help of my GP, I'm back on medication and I'm working through a couple of things, and I'm feeling good in myself again. I'm starting to feel okay again. Definitely I would not have been able to do these videos if I wasn't feeling okay. So that has been really interesting and freeing, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So in terms of maintenance, and that's something that I say so often, and I really want to hone that in, that if we don't address the reasons as to why we are overweight or obese, and what we did to make us obese, and what were the behaviors and the actions and the habits that we had that got us there. For me, it was that I was a food addict because I kept like needing to numb out of the pain and fill the hole that was inside me, and I tried to do that with food and it didn't work. But I worked on my mental health, and then I lost weight, and now I no longer have that. So I just want to really reiterate, so like, no matter what, like if you white knuckle it through weight loss, which I did so many times before, just like as if you were an addict, you know, like white knuckling it, like that's what, you know, like this, like going, I won't eat today, I won't eat today, I won't eat today. And then, you know, when you reach your goal weight and you go, okay, fine, I'm just going to like, you know, eat whatever now, and because I'm cured, that's not what it's not going to work. That's why the stats, I believe, about regain of weight after weight loss are so high, because so many people white knuckle it through and never address the reasons, the habits, the actions, the behavior that led them to be overweight, led them to overeat or to eat mindlessly or whatever it might be. You know, and maybe some people it's purely a habit of like, yeah, no, I ate a bit too much repeatedly. Maybe it's like me, had deep-rooted trauma and we're trying to fill that hole. So like there can be many different reasons, but it's working out what that reason is, working out the why, working out the motivation, you know, like, or the behavior, the habits, and all of that. And that ends up, because I know that a lot of people have the feeling that if they can just white knuckle it, or I know a lot of people, you know, mistakenly have a weight loss surgery, and they've altered their entire physical being, but they haven't worked on their mind, And then when they reach their goal weight, they're like, but the issues are still there. You know, surgery, weight loss is not going to fix the reason as to why you needed to lose weight. So I just want to like really reiterate that the mental health aspect of weight loss is the most important, because it's not only important for weight loss. We can white knuckle it and to lose weight. We can, because I've done it before. I white knuckled 2 or 3 times to lose a decent amount of weight. But those issues are still going to be there at the end if you don't address that mental health reason. And that is why I always say, as I'm saying now, in the lessons that I've learned from losing a load of weight and maintaining weight, is that the mental health aspect is the most important part. It is the most important part. And by doing that and by making that change in you, you can get to it, and you can get to a sustainable weight maintenance. You don't have to live in a massive calorie deficit. You don't have to feel like you're on a diet for the rest of your life. You can be free of it all, because I am free. And while I still have issues sometimes that come up to do with depression, I'm free of the issues with food. I'm free. I don't have to deal with that. And if I can do it, believe me, if this woman can do it, you can too. That's what I want to say to you. Guys, I've talked a lot in this video. I've recorded this 2 or 3 times because I'm not feeling great today. But thank you so much if you've got to the end of this video. Please leave me a leopard in the, oh no, a zebra. Is there a zebra? Is there a zebra emoji? Because my top is zebra print. Guys, the video is flat, the thing is the camera battery is flashing. I'm crapping on here, so I will love you and leave you all, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Please don't forget to show up for yourself, because you are worthy. You are worth putting the effort in for yourself. Love you all. Thank you. All right, that's enough hamming it up. God, my makeup looks good today. How cool is this top? I think I look pretty good today. I'm not gonna lie. I really like my outfit. How cool is this top? I think I look pretty good today. I'm not gonna lie. I really like my outfit. Let's go eat some soup. Starving Marvin. Oh, look at those mules. Do you think I would snot myself? If you made it to this bit, leave me a shopping bag. I cannot, who else can't wait for summer? I'm so sick of being cold. And I'm not here for these low-rise things. I have far too much loose skin. I need to pack into me knickers. Lovely. That would look so nice, wouldn't it? With like thigh-high boots. Okay, one thing, I'm not here for these like long skirts anymore. No. Nope. No siree bob. Like, they just give me Duggar vibes. Every time I wear this makeup, somebody says I look like Michael Jackson. If you do that, you will be barred.